Hello, Math 7 students. We are starting Module 2, Lesson 8. And Module 2, Lesson 8 is called Addition and Subtraction of Rational Numbers. And we find that on page 64 of my comp book. So turning to page 64 of my comp book. And here we are. All right, addition and subtraction of rational numbers. The goal for today. Today we are going to practice adding and subtracting rational numbers. We've been working with adding and subtracting integers, and now we're going to work with adding and subtracting rational numbers. The question that I want you to be thinking about when you're working on these today is, what is a property that you could use that helps making adding or subtracting rational numbers easier? And you need to be really careful which property you talk about, because notice it says subtracting also, so be careful of that. All right, so first thing that I want you to do is I want you to look at these two problems. And the two problems say 4 minus 5.5 or 4 plus a negative 5.5. And this 4 is an integer, but this 5.5 is a rational number, because remember, integers cannot be fractions. So the 4 is an integer, but the 5.5 is a rational number. So on this side, we're subtracting, and on this side, we're adding. And so the question that I need you to figure out, or the practice that I need you to figure out in this space is 4 minus 5.5 the same as 4 plus a negative 5.5? All right, so I want you to try it, and I will try it, and then we'll figure it out. Okay, so go ahead, get some time. I'm going to be working on mine. You work on yours, and then we'll check them, okay? So I'm representing this first number. I'm going to start with the chips. I'll do the chips on this one. You decide. No, I'm going to use the number line. Okay, so here we go. Number line model. Hopefully you're doing yours, because I'm doing mine. I should be quiet so that you can do yours. Okay, make sure you do both of them, please, so that we can see what your thinking is and what you're doing. All right. Again, I'm using the number line for the second one too, because it's a rational number and it's really hard to show half chips. All right, I'm ready to show you mine. Hopefully you are ready to see. So I did the number line on both of them because we're working with rational numbers. And so on the first one, I put 4. So I went up to 4 because it's positive 4. And then I subtracted, so I knew my arrow had to turn around and go the other way. And I subtracted 5.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. And I got negative 1.5 as the answer. And then on this side, I did positive 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, plus a negative 5.5, so I know that my arrow has to turn around and go the other way because it's a negative 5.5, and I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5, and I ended up with 1.5 is the answer again. So as you can see, both of these have the exact same answer. Now, I would like to know how that is possible. This one says 4 take away 5.5. This one says 4 plus a negative 5.5. So my question to you is, aren't we doing the exact same problem? The exact same problem, okay? The answer to that is yes, we are. We're doing the exact same problem, and what you have just proven is that subtracting is exactly the same as adding the opposite. And we talked about that in the last lesson, and you just proved that again. We proved it with integers, and now we're proving it with rational numbers, that subtracting means the same as adding the opposite, which is exactly what we did. 4 subtract 5.5 is exactly the same as 4 plus a negative 5.5, and negative 5.5 is the opposite of 5.5. The subtraction symbol becomes an addition symbol, and we have the exact same problem, and we just proved it using the number line. Okay? I have a couple of more things to tell you. Let's look at the your choice, and this is where you get to decide what makes things easier for you. So we have 7 plus a negative 9, or we have negative 9 plus 7. And the question that I need you to look at in this one is, which problem looks easier? Does this one look easier for you, or does this one look easier for you? The answer is, as long as you are adding, you can use the commutative property to make the problem easier. Changing the order of the numbers does not change the answer. So if you have this problem right here and you go, ooh, I really don't like it written like that, you could change the order and write it this way if this looks easier to you. And you will notice when we do the two problems, even with different models, it comes up with the same answer. So on this one, we have 7 plus a negative 9. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 positive chips plus 9 negative chips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I circled my 0 pairs like I'm supposed to, and I was left with negative 2, or 2 negative chips. Okay, and then I decided to use the number line one for this problem, so it says that I'm supposed to start at 0 and go down to negative 9, so I did that, and then I'm adding to that negative 9 a positive 7, so I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I landed on negative 2. So as you can see, order didn't matter because in both problems we are adding. And since both problems we are adding, we can use the commutative property. You cannot use the commutative property when you're subtracting. You can only use it when you're adding or multiplying. Okay? But you will notice when you change the order just of those two add-ins being added, it doesn't change the answer. Both of them represent negative 2, which is the correct answer. Okay? So the reason why we call this your choice is if this looks weird to you and you would like to write it differently, as long as you remember this is a negative 9 and this is a positive 7. If you want to change the order around so you deal with the negative 9 first and then add 7, go for it, because as long as it's adding, the order doesn't matter. All right, you have 3 problems that you need to practice that we will be checking on the board tomorrow. Your practice problems, it says practice your choice. So negative 8 plus 4, you have to decide if you like it written 8 plus 4 or if you would change it to 4 plus a negative 8. Negative 2 plus a negative 7, if you think it would be easier to do negative 7 plus a negative 2, go for it. 6 1/4 plus a negative 5, if you think it would be easier to do negative 5 plus 6 1/4, try it. Okay, you need to do these 3 problems as your practice, and I will be checking those tomorrow when I look at your notes. All right, let's take a look at our goal one more time. Today we will be practicing adding and subtracting rational numbers. We did that. What is a property that you could use to help make adding or subtracting rational numbers easier? The answer for that one is, for adding only, it would be commutative property. Okay? All right, my darlings, that's it for this lesson. Hopefully it was pretty simple for you to understand, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!